I totally disagree. Kids are more susceptible to indoctrination. They got no idea what's right and wrong, what's left and right, and what boy and girl is. I'm not sure that kids are more susceptible to indoctrination than adults. My dad used to be very mild-mannered when it came to political type stuff until he started listening to Rush Limbaugh. And there was no shortage of idiots in the 90s driving around with their Rush is Right bumper sticker. I just kept thinking to myself, why couldn't they mean Rush the band? But let's get back to what you were talking about, the kids, right? I can totally use myself as an example here because most of the kids on my street were little girls. The majority of the time that I hung out with little kids, I hung out with Kristen and Ashley. They played with my Star Wars toys, I played with their Barbie toys. Kristen even had a my-size Raggedy Ann doll that she dressed me up like her Raggedy Ann one day. Her stepdad came into the room, saw me dressed in that, and just fell over laughing, and I was so embarrassed. But not because I was playing with dolls, but because he was laughing at me. I played with My Little Pony, I helped her make stuff in her Easy Bake Oven. Guess what? At no time during that did I ever get confused that I might be a girl, or I didn't even think I might be gay. When I got into the second grade, there was the first time that I was ever introduced to somebody who was kind of effeminate. There was a boy in my classroom, and his name is Fred. And I learned that some of the other boys didn't like Fred because they said he was a gaywad, whatever that means. Now, the school I was going to was an Episcopalian church school, so having gay students probably was not high on their priority list. And the very next year, Fred was transferred out of there. I don't know if it was because the church had a talk with his parents or because he was bullied, but his parents were very conservative Christian types. They did not try and talk him into being that effeminate. Most of my very gay friends who are out now grew up with very conservative parents. Some of them even do drag, but none of them were indoctrinated into being that way by their parents or any of the school teachers. So is it possible that a kid could be indoctrinated into becoming trans? Maybe, but it's not very likely. And I could not see a scenario anywhere where a parent would want to try and talk their kid into being transgender. Because why would a parent want that for their child? Why would they want their kid to be harassed all the time or mistreated or beaten up? And statistically in this country, sometimes even worse. So when it comes to indoctrination, I'm not sure that a kid would be any more susceptible to it than some adults, especially if they belong to a certain political party. Some people are just more prone to being indoctrinated. In some cases, it seems like some adults embrace indoctrination. They seem to use it as a way to belong. So I'm just not really sure I agree with your premise here. But I'm willing to admit that I could be wrong. Why don't you present your case and we'll see.